So you're thinking to book your next Sandals or Beaches vacation, and you're wondering, is it best to book direct with a Sandals specialist or somewhere else entirely? In this video, you'll find the facts, the myths, and everything you want to know. Hi, I'm Madison of Reliant Destinations and MyCaribbeanLuxury.com, YouTube's leading sandals and beaches expert. It's a delight to have you here today. Thanks for stopping by. Today, I'm going to lay bare all the facts you want to know in complete transparency. Regardless of where you choose to book in the future, and even if you and I never chat, this is all information you'll want to have in your back pocket. Now, this video will be thorough, and I know that people are watching this video on all ends of the sandals journey spectrum, so what I will do is in the description below, I will put a time link for different parts of this video, so if you don't want to watch the whole video, you can skip along to the parts you want to see. In that same description, there will be a link to information about sandals, lots of things you want to know, and also contact details for me personally. In that same description, there will be a link to a beautiful digital brochure about Sandals Resorts. There's also some links to information you will want to know, and of course, my contact details are in that description as well. If you did book sandals online or directly in the last 14 days, make sure to get in touch about my value offering for you. For those of you who want to know everything about booking with Sandals or Beaches, well, let's dive in. A good place to start this video today is by talking about all the different possible places you could book your sandals trip. Well, let's get it out of the way at the beginning by talking about what might be the worst way to book your trip, and these are mass operators like Expedia, Kayak.com, American Airlines Vacation, etc. The reason for this is really simple, actually. See, these mass operators have very limited support available when you do need assistance, have very limited or sometimes no knowledge about the brand whatsoever, and more often than not, there is a whole set of extra third-party policies that make your booking more strict and less flexible. Now, I did promise to be transparent in this video, so I will quickly say something. Many travel agents do try to coax travelers out of using sites like Expedia, A, because there's little to no commissions made with that, and B, because they want to directly service clients. As a travel expert, I actually believe that sites like Expedia can actually be beneficial to you, but in certain instances. For example, I think Expedia could be great for things like a quick weekend getaway. For example, if you're after a quick city break, 99 out of 100 times, a big website like Expedia can actually definitely do the trick for you. The issues come in when you try to book more complex brands with sites like this, things like luxury all-inclusives, or really any service-oriented brand. These are the areas you definitely want to steer clear of. So this video isn't an Addison told me not to use Expedia video, actually quite the contrary. Rather, just suggesting that you probably don't use Expedia and websites like that for things like luxury cruises, maybe a safari in Africa, or brands like Sandals. Let's talk about some other ways you could book your Sandals or Beaches trip. One notable option could be the Sandals or Beaches call center. Yes, we're talking that 1-800-SANDALS call center number you see blasted on the television ads all the time. Here's the deal, it's not a terrible way to book whatsoever. However, we are in the 21st century and there definitely are better ways, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So the Sandals and Beaches call center is a well thought out cog machine. There are, however, certain disadvantages to booking over the phone. In fact, I highly recommend not booking over the phone for any hotel, resort, or cruise. The reason for this is so simple but often overlooked. It puts you at a disadvantage. First, there's just too much room for error in my opinion. Yes, we're talking about things that wreak havoc in the industry daily, like misspelled names, incorrect email addresses, not understanding policy information correctly. The list goes on and on. When you are either the one that is typing out the information or at least has a chance to look through everything before moving forward, it flips the equation and puts you back in control. Then there's something you're already aware of. Call centers are taught to upsell no matter what industry. Not having real-time information in front of you does give you less control, and sometimes you might accidentally agree to something of which you weren't quite aware. So it's definitely not the worst way to book because there are many friendly agents there and they do have fact sheets in front of them. But as you can see, it's not necessarily in a guest advantage to use this method. The next possible booking method is booking directly online. We're talking sandals.com or beaches.com. If for some reason booking direct is really important to you, I do suggest that this is a much better method than booking over the phone. This way you have the information in front of your eyes and you can research to your heart's content before moving forward. And of course, without the intrinsic pressure of a sales team on the other side of the phone. I'm a big fan, a massive proponent of having information in front of you and being well informed before you make a decision. With the website, you at least have that in front of your eyes. The Sandals and Beaches websites are substantially large websites, however, so they can be a little bit complex to navigate, so you'll definitely need some time to sort through. One of the hidden features on this website is one of the very best specials that comes on a regular occasion, and for your benefit, regardless of where you're thinking to book, I've put a link in that description below for you. Thus, you can see the Sandals and Beaches website is not a bad method to book whatsoever. The only downside is after you book online, should you need service, you're gonna have to speak to someone random at the call center. But out of the methods we've spoke about so far, this is definitely the best in my opinion. Next up is using a travel agency or a concierge service. If you're expecting me to use this part of the video to shout, "This is the best method," you'd be mistaken. The truth is that while this method can be the best, it can also be worse than a large internet operator if you're not careful. With tens of thousands of agencies and service partners across the nation, there are a few factors that I reckon you should probably consider. The first one I'd recommend you ask yourself is, are you working with an experienced agent or agency? Another one to consider would be, is it a one-man band or is it a team? There are pros and cons to both, of course. If the person is a one-man band, are they dedicated and experienced enough to service your booking? The vast majority of travel agents are doing it as a part-time hobby, so it's worth asking a few questions to see where your comfort level lies. If you're booking with a team, do they specialize in something or do they try to service everything? If they are a team, is the team still small enough that you are a name and you have personalized service and not a number? Or do you have a dedicated representative in that agency? See, there are definitely a few things to consider here. Some time back, I used to be a do-it-all travel agent that tried to do everything before I zoned in as a service partner exclusively with Sandals and Beaches Resorts. And one of the things that I learned is that Sandals is a knowledge-intensive product. Between resort types, destinations, different specials, what's happening in the brand, there's so much information to know. In fact, sandals.com actually has over 1,000 pages on the website itself, so there are so many nooks and crannies you could end up, and that's a lot of information to know. With over 1,000 room types, if you were to actually sit and go on sandals.com and try to look at every single room, you'd probably be sitting in front of your computer all day long. For this reason, if you do choose to use a travel agent or a concierge agent, I do recommend that you choose someone who is a Sandals and Beaches specialist. This doesn't mean that they have to be exclusively working with Sandals and Beaches and aren't also servicing other brands, but it does mean that they're gonna have a higher level of knowledge to be able to assist you better. I'll let you in on a little secret. Agents, concierge, service partners who specialize in sandals have a lot of knowledge to memorize, but also a big course to complete. There are also different levels of expertise and credibility based off of knowledge and performance. These tiers go like this: certified sandal specialist, silver sandal specialist, a gold sandal specialist, and then a platinum sandal specialist. Then there's even a higher level which has only a handful of members worldwide, and which I'm honored to be a part of, and this is the Chairman's World Club Elites. This is an exclusive group of travel agents and service partners who work directly with the executives of Sandals and Beaches Resorts to help move the brand in a direction that is best for you. Of course, there's the added value of being able to foster relationships to make sure that our clients are treated like VIPs and always have the best possible experiences. So my recommendation, if you're thinking to use a travel agent, travel agency, concierge agent, just ask a couple of questions, see if they are a certified Sandals or Beaches specialist, see what kind of expertise and knowledge they can offer, and what they can do to make your trip perfect. So there you have it. Those are the most popular ways you can book your trip, with some pros and cons for each of them. So Addison, what is the best method to book a Sandals or Beaches trip? Well, that could be me or anyone else. I do recommend that you choose someone who A, does this full time preferably, and then also does have a certificate for a Sandals or Beaches specialist. You want someone who's going to be able to walk beside you from the start to the end of this process and help make every bit of it perfect along the journey. A fun fact as well, if you did happen to book in the last 2 weeks directly with Sandals or Beaches and you still wanted a sandal specialist to service your booking, you can actually assign them as your concierge travel agent in the 2 weeks after that. There's a link in the description below about how to do that if you're interested. Now, in terms of using a sandal specialist, let's not just take my word for it. Let's talk about some myths and the facts with that about using specialists. Myth number 1 is that the Sandals Beaches call center can help me the best. As I said before, I think that the folks in the call center are a great bunch. In fact, I speak to them almost every day. But it does, of course, come with its inherent limitations. Most of them will be reading off of fact sheets and also using standardized templates in their responses to you. When you speak to someone one time, you're unlikely to speak to them the next time, so you are missing that personal connection. And of course, call center representatives often aren't in the resorts all the time, so they haven't seen a lot of the rooms firsthand, and they also won't have those connections and relationships with the resort management. So again, they can get the job efficiently done for you, but are there better ways to book? Probably. Another common myth is if I use a sandal specialist, I'm going to have to use a different method to pay for my vacation, and I don't want to do that. Well, every agent or agency is different with this, so I can't speak for them all, but I can tell you how it works for my services and also many others I know of. For example, at Reliant Destinations, my company, nothing changes whatsoever in terms of payment, even if you assign us as your concierge agent after you've already booked directly. There are always 3 methods you can easily make payments for a Sandals or Beaches trip. This includes the Sandals app, also includes a dedicated secure link where you can do online payments, and of course there's also an automated phone system you can choose as well. In fact, my team and I value personal data and security very highly, and so because of that, we actually don't see any payment information, or we don't also allow any payment information to be sent to us, and all we see is the last 4 digits of a card if we're discussing payment methods. So some fun facts for you about that. The next myth has a twofold extreme, you could say. One side of this is I will save a lot of money if I'm using a sandal specialist, and the other side of this is it will cost me a lot of extra money if I use a sandal specialist. For better or worse, neither of those are true. With a service like mine, for example, you will always have the same price as Sandals online, the prices you can see in the best available price globally. And yes, sometimes there are opportunities for better deals after booking, but I'll explain that one further in a bit. First, it's really important to know that Sandals and Beaches does have a strict price control on their product, and this is due to the very high levels of service. Sandals is a luxury brand that prides itself on high levels of service at all different angles and does not want to be a commodity that's always a price-driven product. Here's what this means simply. If you ever see a price that is even a penny less than the price you can find on sandals.com, then you should run, because it's probably a scam. And if it's not a scam, it's someone that's probably misinformed and it's going to cost you more money in the end. The same goes for any offering of rebates, big incentives not available that you see online, so on and so forth. The most important thing to remember on all of this is Sandals is a luxury product. It's not a race to the bottom in price. There are, however, of course, some ways to get great deals. I've linked some of those in the description below for you, and I will also have a video on this channel about how to get the very best deal at Sandals. Another myth is if there's a problem, I can't get a hold of you. This is definitely a question I can't answer for other services, but I can definitely answer for mine. What I will say is a good agent, agency, or service partner will always have contingencies. For example, in my service, we operate a 7-day-a-week email system with easy ways to prioritize messages so you can shoot to the top for urgent needs. I have an executive assistant and other admin assistants who also keep an eye at all times to make sure that there's nothing that ever gets by. In our service, we also use various ways to get in touch. The most common is email. We love email for one of the reasons that we mentioned earlier in this video, which is you can always have information in front of you. We send out a lot of information, lots of visuals, and things that you can easily refer back to at any time if you forget or just need an easy reference. Anyone who throws the word urgent to the email subject automatically has priority attention when that's necessary. Of course, there's a concierge phone line that you can also text, and there's also Facebook Messenger contacts. There's many ways to get in touch. And when you're within 2 weeks of your trip, we also give you the contact information for the resort itself if there's any needs there. The final myth is if I use a specialist, I'm probably going to lose all access to my sandal systems, right? The answer to that is a resounding nope. In fact, a good sandal specialist will show you things on the website you probably didn't even know existed, and ways to definitely maximize your trip, and definitely ways to be more efficient with your resort planning. For clients of Reliant Destinations, every client also gets access to a dedicated exclusive client information hub that has so much information information, links easily to everything you possibly want to know, and a whole dedicated frequently asked questions section that we've compiled over the years of all the things that are most important to know about your trip. So those are definitely the top myths. Some of you watching this video will use my services. Some will use those that are really my competitors. Others will simply book online. Regardless of how you choose to have your vacation serviced, I hope there was information that was beneficial to you in this video. And if not in this video, then in the description below. On my channel, you'll also find videos about what I believe are the best Sandals resorts, where to find the best deal, different resort walkthroughs and rooms and suite walkthroughs, so much information. So if you are really interested in booking a trip or just exploring the brand, definitely have a browse on the channel. There's playlists with different categories so you can find what you're looking for. I hope you enjoyed this video. Of course, my contact details are in that description below if you'd like to reach out. Thanks for stopping by. It's been a pleasure having you here. Please remember to like this video and subscribe. I wish you the best and hope to see you sometime in resort. Take care.